As you see her built today, this one tends to come in around 11,700 to 11,800 pounds. Big beautiful Wolfpack 325 wide body 13-foot garage toy hauler here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This continues to be an exceptionally popular model because it gives you that big living space and big garage space of all the fancy pants luxury models, and it has plenty of good eye appeal, and it has all the major features. It just doesn't seem to have the inflated price tag. So one of the first questions that you need to answer anytime the word hauler is in the equation is, what can I throw in this thing? And that's kind of the whole point of this big Wolfpack. With a 13-foot long garage up to that, cross-section wall there where your doors are located, you have 13 feet of garage space. And with this being a max width, wide body, 102 wide coach, you can put pretty much anything in here. So if you got those big side-by-sides, there's not much you can't put in here. But sometimes these things can be used as something like an alternative bunkhouse. Like, you see how you've got that power drop queen bed above, and then you've got these, sofa slash sleeper things on the side over here. You can kind of arrange this thing however you want to. Now, these sofas that we're looking at, I've got them riding in the vertical position right now, so they give us maximum loading height. But you can also make those things stick straight out perpendicular so that they ride like parallel to that upper queen bed right there, and you can give yourself more loading width. Or I suppose you could technically split the difference if you ever wanted to. I'm not sure why you would ever want to. Now, before I put these things down and you get to see it in like campsite mode, I want to direct your attention to all these D-rings. There's like 15 tie downs in the garage here, so that if you have more than just one thing, or if you've got a big side-by-side, or if you've got a couple kayaks plus bikes or whatever, you're never fighting for tie downs in here. Everybody has their own space, and it's got that nice industrial rubberized floor as opposed to just a common linoleum. So if your tires happen to spin out a little bit, you're not going to grind the finish off of something like that. Not to mention the fact that they tend not to spin out on this stuff. It tends just to grab better. And as I mentioned, these are good for more than just hauling. With this power drop queen bed that we have above, plus the dual rollover sofas that we have below, you can comfortably sleep not just kids back here, but adults as well. And that's another thing, is this is good as not just an alternative bunkhouse, but they're great as like a buddy camper. You know, if you've got something kind of situation where you've got groups of adults that want to kind of go camping together, with that half bath off the back garage here that we'll see in just a minute, well, everyone has their own bathroom at night. Everyone's got plenty of very nice private sleeping space with doors that give them the privacy in the evenings. And you're not sleeping on just like bunks or a sofa. This is a big, long bed, and especially you roll out like a foam topper on top of one of these things, frankly, you'd be pretty darn comfortable. And you might have noticed, like, you're like, how do I get to that upper bed? If I direct your attention to the bottom left of the screen right now, you see that ladder down there. That can be used to get either to the loft bunk that we'll see in a few minutes, or to that upper bed if you don't feel like climbing. So as I've mentioned a few times, you got these dual rollover sofas back here. You already saw them down in the sleeper position. But during the daytime, if you want, you could sit 6 adults back here, or, sit your whole family back here. And this could be like a huge family dining situation. And then you've got, like, fold down sort of, truck seat armrest right here. You got a couple cup holders, so you're not constantly getting up and down to get a drink. And this is one of the kind of sneaky things about a big toy hauler like this. When you go in the living room, there's no like proper dinette. And a lot of times when people first walk into it, if they've never been in RVs before, they go, yeah, but where do we eat? This is your dining room. And what's kind of cool is you've got a roll down 3 seasons wall, where if you want to get some fresh air back here and leave this tailgate down, you can. You could always close the tailgate and enjoy the air conditioning. Now you see that table, how it's fully free floating. The 3Fs, fully free floating. Well, you could take that under the awnings. You could bring it back here onto the deck. You could obviously put it back here behind these. And one other quick thing to note, I left the bed in the down position, but you don't have to do that. You can leave the bed up against the ceiling and drop just the sofas. That is possible, so that if you want just a big daytime living space, you have it, and then you can just sort of drop the bed whenever you need it. For easy access, I just scoot that out of the way. Want to take a look at all the windows over here? You see how they've got these black covers on them? These things come with these snap-on blackout shades if you want to absolutely blot the sun out of this garage. maintain privacy, make sure nobody can see you sleeping or look at your toys that you have stored back here. You can definitely do that very simply, very easily. Now take a look at those power outlets. We got outlets to the right of the sofa, outlets to the left of the sofa. And as I sneak inside here, you see USB plugs as well. And everything that you're seeing over here is mirrored on the opposite side as well. So there are tons of outlets back here. So again, if it is just sort of, we've got adults hanging out and it's sort of a party day situation, doesn't matter how many people we got sitting back here, doesn't matter how low your battery is on your phone, you got a place to plug it in, charge it up, all kinds of good stuff. Now the second door here does have a deadbolt, so it is fully secure just like your main entry door. If you do have maybe your kids sleeping back here, or if you're sleeping back here as a guest, you can sleep peacefully knowing that someone's not going to be able to get in here and get to you. Holy cow, look at, I mean, just tons of outlets, you know, whether it's for tools or phone chargers or whatever, you got it all. Extra wide door to pass through between the garage and the living area, your primary living space. Very nice, like if you're carrying chairs or like a big platter of food out or something like that, you don't have to try to weave through the door sideways. And the 325 here, it is washer dryer prepped as one of their bigger wolf packs. That is a feature that they include there. So if you are looking to stay in one of these for an extended period long term, and you really dislike the idea of a public laundry service, you don't have to worry about it. One of the other major calling cards of the 325 is this half bath back here. That window there has a shade, but I love that it opens for airflow. Plus it just lets some extra light in here. And you can see that we are still carpetless back here. You know, it's a very easy, clean kind of half bath situation. And I love the fact that it does include not only a foot flush, but its own dedicated sink. So you don't have to wash your bathroom hands back up in the kitchen sink, and you don't have to touch a bunch of door handles on your way to get there. But what's nice too is what you're going to notice, whether it was that free floating table that we saw previously, the half bath counter, up in the kitchen, everywhere, you have a sealed edge countertop. And the idea behind that is if you splash water around, obviously you want to wipe it down off the cabinets, but it's not going to swell and cause damage to the main countertop itself. And where that's really handy is if you have a door open like this and you're not full-time running the AC, there can be more humidity built up in the RV. So these sealed edge countertops on something like a toy hauler are a really, really handy, nice feature. As is the case with almost anything featuring opposing slides in either an island or a peninsula, when the slide's closed, we can get to the bedroom, the bathroom, obviously you can get to the garage and the half bath. So on the road, if you need to stop, you can sleep everybody, but you can't really get in here and feed them. That being said, these slides here in the living room, they're on a one switch, real fast moving hydraulic system, and they will get out in a hurry when you're ready to set up. You're not going to see a lot of updates compared to the previous season. And it's because they didn't need to make any major updates. In their class and category and price point, Wolfpack is the single best-selling toy hauler out there. So they didn't need to reinvent the wheel. But the more you start looking at the fine details, the more they've really tightened the screws on this. And I am exceptionally happy with what I'm seeing. This is, like I said, the best looking Wolfpack ever. Now, one thing I want to zero in on real quick is the refrigerator. Standard, a Wolfpack fifth wheel like this is going to have a electric-only refrigerator. A lot of toy haulers are going to be used for off-grid use, however, so we do like to swap that out for the RV fridge that you're seeing right there. But keep in mind that that might not be the same as the one that we have in stock. This one could be different from the one that is on hand here at Haylett RV. Now, one of the big facets of this floor plan is the loft. So let's get a little closer look at that, shall we? The ladder position. A lot of brands will make the mistake of installing the ladder mounts directly in front of this big door. So by having it offset a little closer to the entertainment side here, it makes it much, much easier to leave the ladder in place and not cut off the camper. Now you've got your power outlets up top, you know, for all the extra kid devices. I like the extra skylight up here. And you might actually see as we look around, this loft actually does wrap all the way around. My arm's just not quite long enough to get there. Now you notice how the mattress does stop before it hits the edge there. This is a traditional bunk-sized mattress that is by purpose and intent, because it leaves a lot of extra room up there for cargo space. And if you do need the extra sleeping space, it's not necessarily hard to figure out another method of bedding. The entertainment center right here,
you can see goes all the way to the roof, and we are going to get that opened up in a minute here. But one thing I want to zero in on are some entertainment changes. There are not as many people using DVDs nowadays. A lot of people are looking for, like, hey, I want Blu-ray or something like that, but not everybody. It's a hard thing for a manufacturer to try to accomplish. So what you're going to start seeing through a lot of the industry is actually this right here. This is a really slick Furrion Bluetooth stereo system, but it has excellent expandability. You've got face-mounted HDMI and USB ports. So if you are looking for those like streaming media sticks, Roku, Chromecast, Amazon Fire, whatever, you can plug that stuff in here. You can plug in a phone or music player of your choice and play some music through the thing. But it has entertainment expandability without having a thing like a DVD stereo that a lot of people just don't care about anymore. Now, you see that right across from the seating, we have this huge entertainment center. It could easily accommodate a 40-inch TV, maybe more. I haven't hard measured it. You will find, though, that a Wolfpack is not going to include a TV from the factory, because not everyone is interested in camping entertainment, basically, or, you know, watching TV while you're in your RV, especially in a toy hauler when a lot of people are out and about. This is more of a, what I call Larry Lunch Bucket and Jane's six-pack style fifth-wheel toy hauler, where this is not all the glitz and the glitter. Now, it's clean, it's pretty, it's super, super effective, but it's not over the top in any way. That's one of the reasons why it's less than half the price of some of our other fifth-wheel toy haulers that we offer here at Haylett RV. But long story short, what we've found at Haylett RV, if you want to add a TV to it, guys, we can go across the street and we can add a TV to this thing and pay a tech to install it for less than we can get one from the factory. So, and chances are it's going to be a better grade TV anyway. Now below that, and we'll circle back to this in the kitchen, but any sort of countertop in this is going to be what's called thermofoil. It's a sealed edge pressed membrane so that, God forbid there's any water exposure, it's really hard for it to soak up and swell in there. You've got a remote controlled electric space heating fireplace below that can be used just for LED visuals, by the way. And then to kind of really put it over the top, normally what you would find here is a U-dye net. And that's how we've built these for years and years and years. However, we've found more and more and more people are wanting to go to a sofa and then utilize the free-floating table that's already included with this toy hauler that we'll actually see outside if you want it for dining. So you can still eat here, but in the meantime, it's not as big, it's not as bulky and blocky, it's not in your face. It's a more comfortable seating arrangement, and as you can see, they're wall-hugging theater recliners, and even the center section reclines. Now, you've got big windows in this one for some excellent views, and what's also neat is you do have the nicer roll-down blackout nightshades, and those things, if you want to blot out the sun, you can. And I wasn't joking. You're going to find USB plugs all over the darn place in this one. Now, over here in the kitchen, that is, in years past, they actually had this sort of foam faux brick stuff in the lower kitchen area. And they've actually gone to, it still has that look, but it's actually an extremely high-def printed panel. And the benefit to that is it's a little less expensive, guys. It still looks great. And it's not a potential fire hazard like they found out the foam stuff happened to be. Whoops. So once again, we've got those all thermofoil countertops here. You got a high-rise sprayer faucet. This is what's called the farm sink, the extra large stainless sink below. Oops, I kind of jostled that a little bit here. Now, another thing I like is this little entry kickout right here. It sort of fills that role sort of like an entry bureau or a place by the house where you can walk in, sit down, drop your keys, and if that's not the best spot for a coffee maker right there, I don't know what is. But there's a lot of storage in this kitchen that we haven't seen yet. So what do you say we take a look and see what she's got to offer? Now these cabinets above the entertainment center, you're definitely going to want a 2 or 3 stepper to get to them depending on how tall or how gravity friendly you might be. Over here though, this pantry, this is going to be your everyday in and out space, and that is huge. It is, I'm eyeballing it here guys, but it's about 6 foot, 6'6" tall roughly. So this pantry alone is about as tall as most travel trailers. And once again, you might need some steps to get to it, but you see how deep the refrigerator is? That's how deep the cabinets above it are. You know, because this is a toy hauler with such a tall ceiling, they were able to make those overhead cabinets extra, extra large. Now, anywhere you see countertop, you're going to see space below it. That big pocket to the left of the stove top right there. And I love the fact that between the recessed sink and stove, you've got some really good prep area in here. Now, speaking of that, you might notice this food grade bamboo cutting board back here. And I looked at it and I'm like, what? How is it sitting there? I figured it was vertically slotted in place. So I walked over here and grabbed it. And lo and behold, it's actually magnetically latched. These are the exact same sort of magnet holdbacks that you'll find on baggage doors. How cool is this thing? When you're done with it, there you go. You know, because it hangs vertically, it doesn't eat up any horizontal counter space. And then the actual magnet holdbacks themselves act sort of like little feet. So it's a very cool little cutting board when and where you need it. It's good for indoor use, outdoor use, doesn't matter. And then once again, as soon as you're done with it, it occupies absolutely no storage space. There is no loss of space to that. That is a very cool thing, and the way they did that is the slickest, neatest thing. I gotta believe that they were on some kind of user forum, and they saw one of these little camping hack jobs and said, oh, we gotta do that. That's not hard to do. Now down here, one thing I do want to point out is instead of an oven, they do put a convection microwave in place of the oven, very much in the same sort of way and fashion, I guess, as a motorhome, really. Now, taking a look at the remainder of the kitchen, I wanted to open everything up here under that Peninsula countertop. And you can see, like, so far you haven't seen drawers. You obviously have easy access drawers, plenty of them, and the bottom two drawers are actually extra large, if you notice. Now, down here, you've got all sorts of shelf space. I know a lot of people are going to say, where does a wastebasket go? It would not be hard to put a little cutaway in one of those to leave wastebasket space, but given the size of this floor plan and how much walking room there's there, I think I just actually set a larger wastebasket on the side of the Peninsula countertop here. Now, again, anywhere you see counter space, you're going to see storage, and I do like that extra little pocket above it. They've wasted nothing here. One other thing I want to point out, like I said, it was the small things that were updated, like these wall panels. They have a very nice wood grain sort of look to them. They've got, it's actually not textured, but buddy, does it look like it. And that's the thing, is like you have to reach out. I had to touch it the first time I saw it, because even the way that it reflects light looks like it's got a texture and a shape to it. So it's got like I said, they did some very smart, low dollar, but good looking things to this. A lot of times people mistake shiny for quality, you know. And this is a great brand. We really don't see them back in the service department. Are they the flashiest, fanciest thing? No. But they've got, I think, a good look. They've got the right sizzle. They've got the right hot sauce in the right places. Like this Max Air vent fan up here in the bathroom area. That right here is giving us much, much better airflow than one of those traditional little 4-inch plastic fans. Now, over here, you've got that big shower. And because this thing is extra tall all the way through the bathroom area, if you're, I don't know, you're going to be 6.5 foot tall for that to be an issue. The radius shower enclosure is going to give you the extra elbow room that you're going to want and need. And this thing has excellent floor space in the bathroom area here. Now, you've actually got two of these extra large, I guess, medicine cabinets, but this one behind us is a little bit bigger, and it's going to function as something of a linen space here, whereas this one's going to be your primary sort of medicine vanity cabinet. Same waterproof countertop that you have there, but an extra large sink so that it is easier to get adult-sized hands in there and clean all the trail and the road grime off your hands. Now, this is a dual entry bathroom and bedroom, so it doesn't matter what side of the bed you're on, it's easier to get through. And notice that there's no step up around the bed. That's one of the things I really like about these. Now, being wide body, they were able to go to a bigger bed. Last year they used just a traditional little camp queen. This year they have widened it up to give you that extra sleeping space so the two of you can roll over at night without, slapping one another inadvertently. Now, the second air conditioner up here in the bedroom, that is an optional piece of equipment. However, we've really found that in something this size, guys, if you're not running a second air, you are probably going to be regretting it, especially if you're parked in direct sun. You want to add a bedroom TV, you're good to go. And little details like having actual light switches for your main ceiling lights are excellent. Now, last year, they had these full-length hanging closets, which was neat. But if you take a look this year, this is, I think, one of those simple, smart, didn't really cost anything revisions, where they've added like a dresser drawer on both sides of the bed and just enough of a shelf to put like phone chargers or CPAPs, and of course you've got your built-in USB plugs all over the place, and an easy lift bed, obviously, makes it it couldn't be easier to get under here. Now that portable picnic table we're going to look at outside, that could easily ride in the basement of the RV, or you could throw it under here when you're going down the road and just pull it out whenever you need it. And that is a big chunk of real estate down there.
There was that tiny cosmetic update to those, not just linear line graphics, but the reflective sort of striping on it. It really catches your eye. And this is a higher grade of fiberglass than you typically find on almost any towable RV. Very often you run into what's called a Phylon, which is a rolled fiberglass product. You can still see the fibers in the fiberglass. This is a higher grade gel coat variety, which has superior reflectivity, which is one of the reasons that, you know, there's plenty of gray sidewall fifth wheels out there, but this one just has a dynamite look about it. These are 102 wide, 102 inches, which is 8'6" if you do the math. There's a lot of 8'4" wide coaches out there, and I don't think the extra 2 inches makes or breaks your ability to have a fun camping weekend, but I think one of the things that it does show is that they are willing to go to like full function measures on here. They want to make sure that you're not going to lose out on anything with this thing. These are generator ready, which is nice. You've also, that shares the fuel cell. It's got a 30-gallon fuel cell with the fueling station in the back driver's side corner. So if you do want to, you can use that fuel there either to top your own vehicle off for longer trips, or obviously for toys if you have them. You know, there's really no one set way that you ever have to use anything like that. As we swing over here to our little kind of sort of utility space where we've got our water heater and whatnot, I want to point out, of course, we do have a simple black tank flush, but as we peek down below the floor line here, you see that we do have an enclosed underbelly. And one of the neat things on these Wolfpacks is they do have, and this is standard, they have 12-volt tank heating pads. And that is one of those things you don't often run into until you start to get into these like $80,000, $90,000, maybe six-figure luxury fifth wheel toy haulers. But here you're getting it in something that's like, I don't know, closer to half that budget. As I mentioned, we do have a fueling station kind of basically right below that always-on side mount roof access ladder right there. And it's nice that that ladder is side mounted. More and more brands have adopted that. The mounting hardware costs a couple cents, of course, but it means that you don't have to eat up interior storage space, and you don't have to like try to find a way to secure a ladder or risk a big, super tall roof ladder bouncing around inside of the thing. It's just one less thing you got to deal with. We do like to put the patio party deck on the back of these. The ramp itself has a 3,000-pound load rating. When it's in patio mode, you've got a 1,500-pound capacity. Due to the fact that for 3,000 pounds, you do need a point of ground contact. I suppose you could put a set of like support struts below that, like maybe slide-out jack stands with a little pad on top. That would theoretically work, but I doubt you're really going to need to. 1,500 pounds is more than enough for plenty of adults on the back there. We are backup camera ready. And we've also got all LED lights, not just tail lights, but tails, markers, everything. They are brighter, safer, last longer. And they did something over here on the patio side that I really wanted to take the time to open these awnings and point out. Previously, historically on this floor plan, if you open that awning, it came out like flat. It came out parallel to the ground and like 15 feet in the air or whatever. Not quite 15, but you get the idea. It was way, way up there. Well, they made these awnings really angled down, but the whole RV is so darn tall that you still have you're never going to be a head knocker. Frankly, you have to jump to slap the awning arm of these things. But when they did that, they created that automatic rain runoff sort of situation. Plus, it's going to provide better rain coverage on a drizzly day. So this is the best patio arrangement this floor plan has ever had. And it's a very, very easy thing to miss. And the fact that most people won't take the time to show you, open the awnings up is another reason why you should, consider bringing your business here to Haylett RV. If we're willing to do that, imagine what else we're willing to do. So they split the awning. Since you have that big slide right in the middle of the living room, they didn't want to run an awning over top of it because 1, it'd be too high, and 2, it couldn't arch like this, and 3, you'd lose a ton of it. So you've got dual separate patio spaces right here, and this one in the back kind of functions as like your entertainment patio versus your welcome back patio. You've got outside TV hookups here. We got our little pet leash latch so we can keep our furry little four-legged friends with us out there on the sites when they're learning the new sights, the new smells. Maybe they're a little spooked. You don't want them running off into the weeds and never coming back. Like, what is that movie with Chevy Chase where he gets the dog, he lets it out the door, and it just goes, woo, 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 and just never comes back? Funny Farm? Is that the name of it? That sounds right. Doesn't matter. Anyway, you didn't come here to learn about Chevy Chase movies. Moving on. Good patio space back here. Again, obviously plenty of room for picnic tables and whatnot. And as we pass up front, we're greeted by our second patio space and these awesome MORryde stable steps. And these things are great because they take that wiggle and jiggle out of the RV as people come and go, because kids are up and down and in and out of this thing all day long. The steps themselves are supporting the weight of the person coming in and out, so it doesn't cause the whole body of the RV to rock and roll. And even as big as this thing is, it's surprising how easily you can still get it to move around. We do have an anti-slam door so the wind won't take that thing and whack it against the sidewall, or the kids, or me, if I'm having a bad day. I've been known to fling a door or two. Bigger entry handle for easy come and go. Another pet leash latch, 1 under each awning, nice touch. So the back awning is going to be like our entertainment space. This is going to be kind of our utility awning. You can do your cooking and whatnot up front here, and then you can mosey back to that rear patio or rear awning area so that you can enjoy your sort of private family time or friends time together, away from the foot traffic of a campground if you are at a big park. One of the only hiccups of the layout like this, it can't have a ton of pass-through storage. But I think that's enough, considering you got a 13-foot wide body garage in the back. I don't think that's bad. And I think that is a good place to keep a little solar panel to utilize that little prep plug right there if you are so inclined. Once again, those little sort of reflective graphics that they have, it's just got a good look to it. And that's the thing. That's really what this does. This does all those really big, important factors, but it does them in a way that just doesn't break the bank. It's ideal, like I said, for Larry Lunch Bucket and Jane Six Pack. This is your toy hauler. And it doesn't even have to be that. Frankly, I mean, if you really boil it down, all the really big, like you want a king bed, you want dual air, you want the stable steps, you want a 13-foot garage, the patio system. I mean, it's got it all. What more do you want? So, whether it's hitching pieces, parts, trades finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between, we do it all. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.